Hi there and happy December. Here's Riikka Kovasin with another video, and this time I'm making some rather quick Christmas or holiday greetings. Let's get started. I'm using some Lin Perala stamps from Paper Artsy for these. As these are brand new stamps, I'm first inking the stamps and then letting them dry for a while, because in my opinion, this makes the stamp work better when I'm actually then stamping. So that's the first thing I do. I then cut my Fabriano cardstock to smaller pieces. First I'm cutting it to A6 size and then cutting a centimeter out of those so they are smaller than the card base underneath, so I can then use foam tape in a later stage to mount these two cards and make the card a little bit dimensional this way, because the actual card itself is going to be one layer in a way. Then I'm using the stamps to make some masks. So I'm stamping on top of these post-it notes to make myself a stamped mask out of both of the stamps. The other one is a little bit too tall, so I need to use two pieces and just secure them together with some double-sided tape. After that, I then mount the stamp to a stamping tool and then stamp to the smaller piece that I just cut in a previous stage, the motif. I'm using a stamping tool because I'm not that good of a stamper, so the first image is not going to be the perfect one. So using a stamping tool allows me to go over a couple of times to get a nice crisp image then. I'm repeating this to all four using the two different stamps. So there's two of the house kind of motif and two with the lady with the wreath. I also cut the mask loose from the post-it, so I just have the outline of the stamped image. Next, I'm then placing one of the stamped cards underneath a little gel plate, and then using the other one, of course, to get a print out of it. But the one underneath is my aligning tool in a way, so I can see how the plate is situated with the stamped image. I use the mask to cover the stamped image on the card I'm printing to, and then add the color on top and pull the print, because this way the little gel print also only creates a background for the stamped image. I'm again repeating this to all four. I'm using the square one to two of those cards and the circular one to two. I'm also changing the color, so there's two, this kind of fir tree green, like a forest green color, and then two that are red. Now that I have the print done, I then use some inks to color the images a little bit. I'm not going for a perfect coloring this time, it's just kind of these areas of color rather than being really particular with the coloring. I'm using 3 ink pads, so there's one brown that covers the hair and skin in a way, and then there's a green one and a red one echoing those print colors I already had beforehand. To make the set a little bit more cohesive, I then swapping the colors, so I use the red mainly to the card where the background is green and vice versa. So the little house is going to be green and the dress of the lady is going to be red. I use a wet brush to move the ink around and then use a heat tool to dry the cards before continuing. When the ink layer is then dried, I'm bringing back the masks. This time I'm using them to, mask the image as well, but this time I'm just drawing on top, and I don't want to be, drawing on top of the stamped image, so using the mask is an easy solution. Of course, I could just lift the pen up, but this way I can be Speedy Gonzales and don't mind about that and just doodle. I'm actually writing Hyvää joulua, which means Merry Christmas, over and over again to the background, making it a little bit more interesting. I use white Posca marker for doodling in this case, and then add a black line, kind of echoing that stamped image in a way to circle around the background. I then add a little bit more coloring to the image using some pencils. These are oil based, so they will stick nicely on top of any layer, and then also add a little bit of Posca to the stamped image as well. I'm repeating these steps to all 4 of the cards. When I now have the focal points done, it's then only putting everything together. So I'm using double-sided tape to mount the focal area on top of a colored cardstock piece, and then using foam tape to add that to card base to make it a little bit more dimensional. And also that colored cardstock adds a nice frame to the image, so it's just not white on white. I'm again going kind of with the opposite color, so I'm choosing a red cardstock for the green background images and vice versa. When I then have the pieces mounted, it's just time to add the last details. For those, I'm using these little strips, word strips that have black background, because I thought that that added a nice little contrast to the otherwise quite pale cards. And these are different greetings that fit the season. As the last detail, I also add a couple of epoxy stickers, like these little dots here and there, and there's 3 to each card. I'm adding one big one kind of a middle sized one, and then one small one. And these all kind of go around the saying, tying everything together. I'm using the green and red also in these. And after that, the set is done. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked the video. And if you did, please hit that bell sign to be notified when a new video comes live, and also consider subscribing. I'm wishing you a lovely December with these cards, and I'll be seeing you with another video within a week. Thanks again. Bye!